I'm just going to go over the 4-H Center overview. As most of you know, we selected that for our spring session. As many of you know, it's located in Columbiana, and this is just kind of an outline, go over the dining facility, lodge, seminar room, pavilion, and other stuff. The dining facility area, it's like a cafeteria style room set up, but back here in the back there are, what are they called? Private dining areas that we've reserved for the classes in March and April, where we can fit all the participants coming through and along with ourselves, so we can have icebreaker games during the meals. And we've reserved those for both March and April session. This is just another view of it. In the lodge facility, this is the cafeteria is off right here, and this is a seating area out front of the lodge where you can hang out and mingle with each other. And the picture to the left is the back view where you can actually sit outside. They've got some chairs out there that you can sit outside and talk to each other. This is the back of the lodge looking out where you can see the lake, and then the hotel rooms right here on the right. The hotel rooms, each participant will get their own hotel room. Each of the rooms have 2 queen beds, they have a private bath, they have telephone access because there is no cell phone service. We were up there a few weeks ago, you have no service. So if you want to get in touch with your employees, you'll have to email them and they can get back with you that way, but you will not be able to get in touch with them. They do offer Wi-Fi in the rooms, and then there are no refrigerators in the rooms, but there are a few with dietary restrictions, and they are able to rent refrigerators for them, so they'll have that capability if they need it. There's also ice available as well. Our seminar room. This is the room that we will be in. It's going to be set up at U shape just like y'all are. It's got a projector on one side and a smart board on the other. And then that's the projector, then the room, and we'll have both rooms set up. This is the outside of the seminar room, so they can actually go out back, stand on the porch if they want to. It overlooks the ravine up there, and it's a beautiful scenery up there. It's and they've got actually classrooms on the bottom where they have school kids come in and go through the science education part up there. This is just another view of outside of the seminar room. And then the pavilion. We've actually rented this for the last night of the April session, just kind of as a send-off for the graduation ceremony the next day, where we'll actually have, as Brad mentioned, steak and chicken, just kind of do an upscale dinner for them for the last night, just as a send-off for them completing the class. This is the porch outside the pavilion. As I mentioned, we've reserved it for the final night. There are restrooms located there. There's also a fire pit off the vicinity of the pavilion that we've rented for the last night, so we can do s'mores. Then they also have there's also a fire pit and cornhole and putt-putt golf that we've rented too, that they can just do different activities with each other. After dining opportunities, we've reserved, it's an old site, a fire pit, which is right off the hotel rooms. We've rented it for the last night of the first session in March. We've also gotten s'mores where they'll do s'mores. They have everything set up for you so people can hang out at the campfire, mingle with each other the last night before they leave on Thursday. Additional venues and games up there, they actually have a Raptor meet and greet, and we've actually reserved it for the lunch session on the first session on Wednesday. Well, they'll bring a Raptor in where people can go and sit there and view it right after lunch before we go back into session. As I mentioned before, we have putt-putt golf reserved and cornhole boards. Food and drinks. All breakfast, lunch, and dinner will be served in the cafeteria, the dining hall up there. Times are very strict, so if we say that breakfast is at 7:15, it has to be at 7:15. They have multiple groups coming in and out. They have school-age kids coming, and they said if you get there at 7:30, you won't have food. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner are scheduled and times are strict. We do have a water station in the meeting room. It is free all day, so they will have water, and we've also set up coffee, so they'll have coffee and water all day. We will also have breaks in the morning and the afternoon where we'll offer cookies or muffins or, I think the first day we actually set up a nacho bar because they'll be traveling 4 hours across the state depending on where you're coming from. They probably ate before they got off the interstate, because within the 4-H center, there's nothing around it. So you have to eat right when you get off the interstate. So we figured people would be hungry, so we set up a nice little nacho bar for them to have. Okay, the facilitator guide training book, which you have in front of you. This big old notebook. Some people's notebooks are bigger than the other ones. But I'll just kind of go through what isn't, is that their stuff out? That's included in the notebook. I'm using Barry Fagan's notebook. The facilitator guide, which is the first section of your notebook. This is kind of what we're going over today. There's two different components of this notebook. The first component is just a general overview of the leadership program. The second component is for you to understand the purposes and goals of this leadership academy. It just goes into detail, and it also, the back of it provides an overview of each module and provides its purpose and participants for suggestions for participant engagements. The next section is some miscellaneous information. Well, first, I guess it's the general agenda is the next section. And this just has the dates and times of who's teaching and what time you're scheduled to teach. And it's also included for session 1 and session 2. And the next section is the miscellaneous. Included in the miscellaneous information is a link to our ALDOT website that Brad has created for us, and I will showcase that in just a second. The next topic is the DISC website, the personality test that Scott mentioned, and I'll share my results. Brad will share his, and Scott will share his. The next section is directions to the 4-H Center. We've provided the address and just directions from Montgomery and Birmingham that they all need them. Cell phone service, as I mentioned, there's none. So if you're running late that day or you're not able to attend, shoot one of us an email on the team so we'll know that we'll need to step in and present for y'all. Or there's a number for the 4-H Center. If you call them, they will get the message to us. And then we've also included, as Scott mentioned earlier, everybody on the team, there's Scott, Wade, and Barry develop different modules. Included in here is the contact information for each module. So like for History of ALDOT, Kay created it, so it's got her phone number and email address if you have any questions about it. The facilitator notes that are provided in this notebook, some of them are very detailed, some of them aren't. So if you have questions, please reach out to your contact person. And Barry has given us his blessing as well. He said if y'all need anything from him, just call him and he'll get back with you. Okay. The website. As I mentioned, Brad put our website together. And based off the website it's got just why leadership is important and how ALDOT recognizes it, the benefits of the Leadership Academy, and what we expect from the participants. There's, what are their obligations for coming and why you chose them to come to this class. There's also, at the top, we've got a location section of the 4-H Center, and it just gives them an overview of the guest rooms, directions, and how to get there. Then we've got a modules page, and as Scott mentioned earlier, each participant was given read-ahead material that's included in your notebooks as well. We have put them on the website, so if anybody wants to read it electronically through PDF, they can. They just pull it up on their computer. So we've linked the PDFs on the website, so they can just go to the website, click it, and it will pull it up. We also have leadership moment videos. We are in the process of trying to put them on the website. That's going to be probably a few months down the road, but they will eventually be on the website. There's also your facilitator guide. There will be a facilitators page as well. We are in the process of developing it, and we hope to have it up running fairly soon. And then we have a contacts page just with the leadership team of who's all on the leadership team with our contact information. And then usually after the first class, we will have photos, and that will be coming soon as well. mentioned, and Scott and I mentioned, there's a personality test that we have asked each participant to do before they come to the class. This will be talked about during the class, and as each of the team members, we've been asked to do this as well so we can present our results at the first class. This is just kind of an overview of what the DISC test is, whether you're dominant, influence, steadiness, or conscientiousness. My results, I'm actually a steadiness, conscientiousness, and dominance, but I'm more steadiness. So it's even-tempered, I'm patient, tactful, and then I've got dominance, some where you're direct, results-oriented, and then conscientiousness where you're private, reserved, and that stuff. Scott, Brad, do y'all want to come up and...
I can just speak from here.
That's fine, whatever you want to say.
When I took the DISC profile, not only did it help me understand myself better, but giving it to the rest of the people in my sphere of influence, it helped me understand them better. I used to get so mad at a guy in church, I guess he was our youth minister, and he was a visionary. And I'm more of a very specific person. I'm very conscientious, and I work out the details. When he would cast that vision, it would tick me off because I started thinking of 50 steps to get there. And it would just tick me off. There's 50 more things I've got to do now. You know, what I learned was thank God for visionaries. And then thank God for conscientious people who know how to help get us where we need to go. So some of the words that describe my profile, I'm cautious and dominant. I have some dominant traits. I'm analytical. I'm very careful. I'm very conscientious, and I'm very driven. Give me a goal, I'm going after it, and that's what I do. So I did find out that I'm more task-oriented than people-oriented, which was kind of a shock to me because I love people, and I love to encourage people. But I enjoy, obviously, analyzing and solving problems more than that. So I usually get things done with excellence, and I like to focus on the quality of what's being done.
We have a pretty diverse team here that we put together, so I'm a bit different than both of them. Seven of them split of two different people. It's dominant, supportive, and cautious, but then I'm dominant, supportive, and cautious again. But some words kind of describe me as a doer, driven, conscientious, and collaborative. I said I tend to work toward the task-oriented approach and have both task-oriented and people-oriented traits. So there again, great assessment that you can link to on the website. You can give it to the people you work with right now. Really trying to find out. But it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to kind of go through each one of the questions. It'll also give you what your natural style is, and then what your adaptive style is. So a lot of great assessments. You kind of get information not only about yourself, but the people you work with. Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks, guys. Okay, just to go further into detail, but we've included the directions. Cell phone service is very limited. We've got Wi-Fi's available in the meeting rooms, lodge, and hotel rooms. So they will be able to have access, your employees will have access to emails. And this is just kind of a breakdown of each contact person for each module. It is included in your binder. And like I said, feel free to reach out to the people on the team. They've put the time and effort to develop these presentations. So if you have any questions, reach out to them. Okay, just an overview of the module that's included in front of you. We've got and this is how it will be set up in the participant notebooks as well. We've got just a title sheet, explaining what the title of the module is. And then the next section is your read-ahead material, which they're required to read before they get there. And we encourage y'all to read them before you come and teach the lessons. You need to know what you're teaching on. So, please take this book and really digest it because it's a lot of information. And some of y'all have multiple modules. Some have one. I think Mr. Woodham has 3 over there. So he's got several. The next section is the handouts. These are fill in the blank sheets. You learn by doing.
I'd give him 3 workout.
The next section are handouts. They're fill in the blanks. The participants will be filling these out as you are giving the presentations. It's slide by slide. So if you change your presentations, make sure you explain that to the participants that it's kind of different from what's in the handout because this is set up by slide, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4. You are more than welcome to take these presentations and make them your own. But just keep in mind that everything has been set up to reflect the presentation as it's set up now. The next section is just a handout. Well, I just talked about the next section will be presentations. In your notebook, it's the facilitator notes, which gives you the presentation and then gives you the notes that were set up for each presenter. You can go in and make these your own. Like I said, make these presentations your own because some of them don't have a lot of notes in them. Some of them are filled with facilitator notes, and then some aren't. And then the next section is the toolbox.
Are these already developed as a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir. These are developed as PowerPoint presentations. Each of you will be given a jump drive at the end of the class that includes the presentation and everything that's included in the notebook. There are videos that are associated with the presentations, and those have already been inserted in the presentations as well. So all that has been done, and they're set up where you just click through them and the video starts. And Mr. Bradley asked could he view some of the prior ones. They are located on a server, so if you want to view any additional presentations, let us know, and we'll get you access to them.
Which brings to mind, are you going to agree with what you teach? Right, Randy?
Yes.
So there will be changes. We welcome, there will be errors, I'm sure, and there will
Yes.
be changes. So if you've got, as you teach this and go about with your work, if you think there's a better way to do it, we want to know
Yeah,
that.
yes, definitely.
That is, if you're still here.
You're so-
You know, Randy did what kind of personality he was, and he ended up, I ain't going to say that. It was very, very stoic.
The last thing that's provided in here is the toolboxes. There's only certain modules that have toolboxes located in them, but this includes additional information that's not covered in your presentation or read-ahead material. Okay, and in the very back of yours, depending on how many modules you have, there is a resource section. Each participant will get a personal growth plan, which we encourage each of them to fill out at the end of each session. And after each module, what their goal and their action point is after each module is done. There's also evaluation forms. We are going to ask them to fill them out after each presentation as well, and you will get a copy of those at the end of the session. I know last time, I think during IT, they were not given out, and we've had some requests to make sure that you are given those copies once the sessions are over with. There's also additional references that if you want to look at, and then there's recommended readings. Each participant will actually receive the 360-degree leader book by John Maxwell for going through the class as well.
Ashley, let me touch on that.
Okay.
Have any of y'all read that book, The 360-Degree Leader by John Maxwell? Well, we'll make sure that you get a copy as well. It's a lot of what you're going to see in these modules comes out of that book, and we felt that was the single best leadership book we could put in their hands that would reflect all the work that's gone into creating these modules.
Hey, Mr. Woodham doesn't know it yet, but we have an inspirational moment video of show. So, but and this goes to what Kay said earlier. There's a reason why you're in this room. You were chosen to participate because you are a leader within ALDOT, and people look at you every day for leadership.
Inspirational moment. Sometimes an inspirational moment in my life comes when I didn't even see it. And I'll explain. I went to Haiti as a lieutenant commander at a support group there, and I was in charge of building bridges, roads, schools, and wells. The CBs were building the road, the Marines were building the bridge, the Air Force was building the schools, and the Army was digging in the ground wells. And so I had all that under me, and I went into an environment with about 200 people. I'm a reservist, and all these other people are active duty. So they don't know me. They're asking and looking and trying to find out why I'm there and stuff of that nature. So I told the colonel when I first got there that I'm here to build roads and bridges and no other reason. in schools and wells, but the protocol on the Army, Marines, and Air Force side, I'm not familiar with. So if you see me walking off the plank, I'd ask that you correct me and tell me things I should do. But I won't want you to worry about the roads and bridges. I got that. So one of the things we did every Friday was send a report to the Pentagon. This road was named after a retiring 4-star general. And we were sending the report to a 2-star general in his GS age there. And we were telling him it was supposed to be done by June 1st. We were telling him July 1st. Well, toward my end of my 8 weeks when I was there, it was August, the middle of August. And so the week before, the 2-star was coming to inspect the road because they were having an opening ceremony and stuff like that. He calls me and says the 2-star general is very upset at you for not letting him know what's going on, and he wants to talk to you when he lands. So what do? I'm there by myself. I went and told the colonel, we got problems. And he says, what do we got? I said, we've been sending this report. You've been seeing it. We've been telling him since April that it's not going to be ready June 1st. It's August now. Well, what can you do? I said, well, I can put out a little, I've just done an active duty where I learned Microsoft project, which deals with milestones and projects. So I said, I can lay this thing out on a road, on a map, and show where the CBs are and stuff like that. So I did that. I prepared my map. I had my map. So when the general landed, I'm at the end of the line, the colonel's at the front, and he shakes everybody's hand until he gets to me. And he says, Woodham, you get in the car with me and the colonel. So I get in the car with my little map, and I sit there, and off they go. And part of it is he's coming to my construction site. So when we get to the construction site, he gets out, and I've got the CB stirring up dust. I got the Marines pushing this bridge across. It's a Bailey Bridge. I got the equipment yard there. It's just activity everywhere. Well, he goes off and starts talking to the troops. He's communicating. I never met an admiral or a general that wasn't a good communicator. And I'm standing there with my little map by the truck. He finally gets to me, and this is where the inspiration part of it is for me. I'm worried about my job. I think I'm out of the Navy. I lay this out on the car, and I said, well, here's where the CBs are, and that's them down there. If you look over here, this is the other end of the map, and about a mile that way is the end of the road, sir, and I think you can tell that we're not going to finish within a month. And we've been sending reports, sir, and this is not breaking news. We're just not going to finish. We've done the best we can. He didn't even look at me. He said, that's all I need to know. So we get back in the truck. I got my little map with me, and we head back to the airplane. And I'm in the end of the line again, and he's shaking hands. When he gets to me, he says, Woodham, he says, you've done an excellent job. He said, I appreciate you for what you've done. You've come down here, and I want to give you a command coin. And he gave me a command coin. This is Aldot's command coin. And you talk about inspiration. I didn't know these people. I didn't know who they were. But I was trying to do a good job. I was telling the truth. And my head was about that big. I could hardly get in the van. From that point on, you don't think I tried to pay attention that there's always somebody watching you. If you do the right thing, and you be moral about it, and you do it for Aldot or the military or whoever, and do it for yourself, 99% of the time you're going to make the right decision.
There's a very great inspirational moment. I looked through a bunch of them yesterday, and that's the one I picked out. So, and you're right, people do look at you as leaders in this room. Your employees are watching you. So, be leaders, and that's why you're here today, is to lead by example. Okay, and I recently learned you don't end a presentation with questions in presentation skills class recently. So we've got a quote, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure, by Colin Powell. Do any of y'all have any questions about this book? I know we've thrown a lot at you in a short amount of time.